A lot of shard volleys.
John Phillip Whetstone back at it. Plays burn a lot on the SCG Tour. 4 main deck shard volleys yet again. Love it.
It's all 4-ofs, right?
Yes, all 4 of 20 lands.
Love it.
Shard
Love
volley
love it.
plays very well with Inspiring Vantage.
We're going to see John on 6 cards. Austin's on 5. John has a Bloodstained Mire to start. Austin with a Cavern of Souls Naming Human and a Vial. Inspiring Vantage into Monastery Swiftspear here for John Phillip Whetstone, number 14 on our SCG Tour leaderboard. Plays the same deck and modern every single time, and burn continues to be pretty good, partner.
It's got, I think, a passable matchup with humans, a passable matchup with Dredge, though with Creepy Chill that may no longer be the case. An actively good matchup with Tron, and given those 3 decks' popularity on the SCG Tour, Whetstone's experience playing this archetype, he's been able to piece together multiple good results over the last few months.
For Collins, he's going to put his Vial up to 1. It looks like it'll be an Ancient Ziggurat as the second land, and now he's going to figure out what spell he wants to play. Austin Collins with already multiple SCG Tour invitational top 8s. Pretty impressive for a player at such a young age as he'll deploy a Meddling Mage, and we'll see what he wants to name with this.
I imagine this will be on Searing Blaze, with Whetstone not doing anything with the fetch land, and it's the best card of the matchup.
He's going to go with Lightning Bolt here with the Meddling Mage. And he will simply pass the turn back. No 1-drop to put through the Vial just yet. As we'll head back over to Whetstone.
Yeah, I think that I would have preferred there for a name of Searing Blaze, so I don't know exactly what Collins' hand is like or what he's playing around. One, because Searing Blaze is so bad right now for Collins, should Whetstone have it. And second, because there's some chance if Whetstone had Lightning Bolt in his hand that he would have just fired it off last turn to deal an extra point through Prowess. So there's some, certainly he could be sitting on a Lightning Bolt, but there's a greater chance there's no Lightning Bolt in Whetstone's hand than there is no Searing Blaze.
Well, unfortunately for Meddling Mage, it is just hard to figure out what card to name in this matchup. Everything is so redundant.
Yeah, I would just need him the Searing Effect because it's the worst thing to happen.
Well, there is the Searing Effect, which appears to be the worst thing that could happen.
You lose.
Yeah. Meddling Mage. Meddling Mage is headed to the graveyard. Monastery Swiss, we're going to get a little larger. Austin Collins is going to take a total of 5 damage this turn.
Not doing anything with the Bloodstained Mire made me suspicious.
Sure.
None of the things where he could have cast a Lightning Bolt, he didn't do anything with the fetch land. None of those are 100% he has Searing Blaze in his hand. There's just some circumstantial evidence that would lead me to believe it's more likely than not, or more likely than it, is just based on the probabilities of the draw.
Another snow-covered mountain here for John Phillip Whetstone. We'll see what the follow play is going to be.
Yes.
It will be a shard volley. Want to get some more damage through. Bang. Doesn't need an additional mountain, it appears. So, John Phillip's going to get through 3, 6, 7. That's 9 points that turn?
That's a ton.
That's not a lot. That's for sure. We head back over to Austin Collins as Vial will slide up to 2.
You've played humans.
A bit.
You know what happens when they're casting Searing Blaze.
It's not my favorite.
It's not good.
It's not my favorite.
It's not good.
Taking a damage from Horizon Canopy, also not my favorite, but you got to do what you got to do. Mantis Rider will join the fray. Looks like it'll be a Thalia's Lieutenant. Make the Mantis Rider a little larger. 4 toughness is ideal for the Mantis Rider. Makes it so it can't be bolted or Searing Blazed away. And now here's the plan. Fly in the sky, and hopefully this Monastery Swiftspear doesn't deal any more relevant points of damage. Wouldn't be surprised to see a chump block be made here with that Thalia's Lieutenant. And actually, we're not going to see any attacks at all. Leads me to believe perhaps that John Phillip Whetstone's hand is not particularly good.
Well, he can't really make an attack here with just even 2 spells he can't make an attack with. So his hand could still be a lot of really good burn spells. There's just, no way for him to make a good attack. At this stage of the game, it's not like he would go, attack you with Swift Spear and bolt your Mantis Rider to finish it off. Mm-hmm. Collins is low enough and his clock is slow enough that if Whetstone has burn in his hand, it's all going to Collins' face.
Well, Austin Collins is going to start his turn by drawing a card, and then he will sacrifice his Horizon Canopy to draw another card. Unclaimed territory will be the play. I presume that's naming human. And now here is a Thales Lieutenant that's being hard cast. A little bit interesting because he's got the vial on 2. Likely that there's another 2-drop in Austin Collins' hand.
Well, the sequencing there is a little bit weird too, right? You imagine you'd vial in the 2 first and then Thales Lieutenant for the extra pump.
Well, so what you can do with that is you play Thales Lieutenant, trigger on the stack, vial in a 2-drop. That'll grow the Lieutenant, and then Lieutenant will grow the other creature.
It doesn't look like any of that's happening, though.
It does not appear to be the case.
Got to send both here, I think. If Whetstone's hand is 2 instant speed burn spells to pump the Swift Spear to a 3/4 and eat your Lieutenant, you're not winning anyway.
No, you're not. I like this attack quite a bit. 5/5 Mana Strider in the air, 3/3 Thales Lieutenant on the ground. Here they come. And John Phillip Whetstone does appear to have 3 cards in hand, so because he didn't play a land last turn, I think we can assume those are spells.
Yep.
Yeah. There's your block. 5 damage going to come through. Can he finish the game off in this turn sequence? That's the question. There's a Boros Charm. Collins is down to 5.
It's either lethal this turn or it involves Lightning Helix to stay alive.
Mm-hmm. Eidolon is not what the doctor ordered.
Well, it's not horrible insofar as it's another chump block.
Well, I say to that, Austin Collins can attack for 5 in the air, puts you down to 4. Whetstone needs 2 spells to win.
Sure.
So he may have just locked himself. Here's a Militia Bugler. Trigger, trigger. Take a look at a couple of cards here.
It's not like that play is 0 risk, though, because Lightning Helix could pull you up.
It's true. That's very true. Lightning Helix would have to get involved here. That'll be a Champion of the Parish. And those cards will go to the bottom from the Bugler. And it looks like Austin also has a Mare of Averbrook. Trigger, he's going to go down to 3. So Mana Strider is going to get to attack for 6 in the air. And then this Thales Lieutenant, the smaller Thales Lieutenant, will get to attack for 4. So this should be lethal, folks.
Yeah, it's just a lethal attack here. I don't think Collins would put himself down to 3 unless he was getting to lethal.
So Austin Collins is going to win game number 1 here over John Phillip Whetstone on, I believe, a mulligan to 5 as Humans is going to win game number 1 here over Burn early this morning to kick off our coverage of SCG Dallas. Now we turn our attention to the sideboard, and we are going to start with JPW and his 3 Ensnaring Bridges, 3 Path to Exile, 3 Rakdos Charm, 2 Dragon's Claw, 2 Exquisite Firecraft, and 2 Rest in Peace.
I'm guessing that the sideboard here is just 3 Ensnaring Bridge, 3 Path to Exile. He's got, 4 Eidolons. I think that you should definitely cut matchup where they have Aether Vial, and you can easily get away with getting 2 Shard Volleys or 2 Boros Charms out of the deck.
Other side of things here for Austin Collins. He's got 3 Knight of Autumn, 3 Sin Collector, 2 Auriok Champion, 2 Dampening Spheres, 2 Izzet Staticaster, 2 Whirler Rogue, and a Dismember.
Great sideboard here. 3 Knight of Autumn, 3 Sin Collector, and 2 Auriok Champion. Auriok Champion's fantastic against burn, so is Sin Collector. Knight of Autumn, you can either have it as a obstinate battle off type of thing or a way to blow up Ensnaring Bridges post board. 8 major upgrades for Collins in the matchup.
Yeah, these are a home run as far as upgrades are concerned. You can get those Meddling Mages out of the deck. You can get some number of Mantis Riders out of the deck as well.
Mare of Averbrook probably.
Mare of Averbrook probably going to go too, especially because it doesn't really trade with anything when you do play it. So happy to have Kitesail Freebooter after sideboard. Hate having Meddling Mage because it's just going to die as we saw in that first game. Probably side out those Militia Buglers as well because you don't want to be too heavy on 3s. So he's got 8 great cards to bring in, 8 pretty easy cards to sideboard out. And we'll see John Phillip Whetstone on the play here for game number 2 in just a moment. But in the meantime, we're going to talk about the StarCityGames.com weekly sale where you can save up to 50% off of select full art lands.
Yeah, you can head over to go.starcitygames.com/weekly sale and see what's on sale. Every Monday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, website's updated with a new category, so make sure to be checking back at least once a week to see what the categories are. And as Cedric mentioned, for a limited time remaining, up to 50% off select full art lands.
So we get ready here for game number 2 between Austin Collins, number 4 on our SCU Tour leaderboard, and John Phillip Whetstone for the 15-year-old from Kansas City, Missouri. He's got 2 open top 8s. He's also got those 2 invitational top 8s. He loves himself some competitive Overwatch and has a 65% win rate with Reinhardt. I imagine that's impressive. I never got around to playing Overwatch. I want to, though. He's a sophomore in public high school and a rap fanatic. This is your boy right here, I guess.
I don't know if I would describe myself as a rap fanatic.
You celebrate the catalog.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's all stuff that's well before Austin Collins was born.
Well, this is true.
Yeah, I don't know.
But maybe he knows it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe he knows some of those. What's some old school stuff you enjoy? The Wu-Tang Clan? Is that a thing?
That's very high on my list.
Okay, there you go. What if he just knows all the Wu-Tang Clan songs?
Be surprised.
Yeah.
But impressed.
Be pretty great if that were true.
This guy's purple tape copy or whatever.
I don't know what that is.
Is
that an album? Purple Tape?
Yeah, only built for Cuban links.
I don't know what that
released.
Dude, that guy's wearing a Cactus Jack shirt. You have to be excited about that. We're seeing we got some great people walking by here. Are you looking up these albums now?
I'm trying to give you
You know I've been listening to Red by Taylor Swift for 3 straight weeks. You think I know anything about the Wu-Tang Clan?
When only built for Cuban links, Raekwon's solo album dropped. It was released on a cassette tape, as that was the era.
That was the medium.
And the tape was purple.
Okay.
Which was stand out because most tapes were just black.
Just black, yeah.
Yeah. Because they're the coolest people who have ever lived. And they just did stuff like that.
Okay. All right. How was that? I want to say how was that album, but how was that
It's an all-time great, perhaps my favorite album, front to back.
Wow.
I don't know. Liquid Swords is also incredible.
Liquid Swords?
Yeah.
Who's that by?
Jizza. I mean, but all the Wu-Tang people all appear on tracks or whatever, but it's like his solo album.
Oh.
They sort of broke the mold just having albums that were sort of narratively driven, that were stylistic, not just a collection of songs, but like trying to set a tone and a mood. Minimalist production.
I see.
All geniuses.
That's true. I do know that.
And if Austin Collins knows their catalog, that would be really impressive.
Might have a little chit chat with him.
Yeah, if he's just into a bunch of the whiny SoundCloud rapper stuff, then I'm not super interested.
Drake?
That's a different thing.
How does Drake rank for you?
He has slowly but surely grown on me. I think he needs to stay in his lane a little bit. All the tracks where he's talking about like being tough or intimating that, he is involved in organized crime and drug trafficking. That stuff makes me giggle.
Oh, sure.
That makes me laugh. But, he's got, some of his tracks are sweet.
I think Drake has slowly just knocked everyone into submission because he releases so much stuff that people are like, fine, you're fine.
Yeah, and it's fun.
You're fine.
You got it. Like I said, my critiques of him are when I think that he doesn't really stay in his lane.
I see. Well, we're going to go to John Phillip Whetstone, who apparently Drake lint rolled his pants at a Lakers game.
Yeah, it's great. That's actually great.
I mean, if you're going to be you all the way. Here's a vial. Collins is going to fall down to 16 here after that spike plus the canopy activation.
Good news for Whetstone here with Collins opening up on a Horizon canopy. If he plays really slowly and only plays through the vial, that's good for Whetstone. If he's actually tapping it for mana every turn, that's really good too.
John will play a Scalding Tarn, simply pass the turn back. Vial's up to 1. This is what we call the painful way of doing it for Austin Collins. All right, Ziggurat's less painful. And he does have some ways to gain life after sideboard with those Knight of Autumns. But he's just going to pass the turn back.
And Whetstone's build of Burn, 0 copies of Skullcrack in the 75.
Good.
And he's leaning really heavily on Ensnaring Bridge post-board. So Knight of Autumn is
a good one.
as good as it can get.
It's a good one. Also blows up Eidolon.
If those are still in his deck. I think those are the first cards I sideboard out in this matchup. If they play a Vial, you're just dead. And it's not even good if they don't play a Vial.
I like it on the play. I hate it on the draw.
I mean, if you go turn 2 Eidolon and they go turn 2 Oriot Champion, it's like, okay.
Oh, well, we're done. Yeah.
We're done.
That's probably it. Here's some Swift Spears. Vial up to 2s. Collins will fall down to 10.
I mean, this is what I sort of mentioned earlier. If Collins is playing slow through the Vial, that's really good through Whetstone. And if he's tapping the Horizon Canopy to develop his board, that's really good as well.
Looks like Austin drew another Ancient Ziggurat, so where do we go from here? And there's the Ziggurat. Be a good time for a Knight of Autumn. Could certainly use some life. As these monsters, Swift Spears are looking pretty threatening. Do know that Collins has at least one copy of Thalia's Lieutenant in hand. But he is unsure of what he wants to play this turn, that's for sure. All right, so there's Lieutenant. Trigger on the stack. He'll violin, it looks like Mare of Averbrook. So the Mare will trigger the Lieutenant. That'll go +1/+1, and then the Lieutenant will give the Mare a counter, so that'll get +1/+1. So the Mare is a 2/2, and Lieutenant is a 3/3.
Your round 2 pairings are online.
There is the very powerful Mare of Averbrook, a 2-mana 1/1. Other human creatures you control get +1/+1 at the beginning of each upkeep. If no spells were cast last turn, you can transform the Mare. And we will get to the Howl Pack Alpha, where it is a 3/3. Other werewolf and wolf creatures you control get +1/+1. You get to make some wolves on the end step, all that jazz. That part doesn't come up very often, though.
Really rough here for Collins that Whetstone has missed a land drop, and beating spells from this point is going to be challenging unless he draws some of his sideboard cards.
Perhaps the hope is that John Phillip Whetstone can only play 1 spell per turn, though that does not appear to be the case. You see that John Phillip does have a copy of Lightning Helix in hand. And here come the Swifties.
I mean, if you're gonna block, you gotta block both. It's bad for you if he has any spell, but there's no way to really manage that. I suppose you can just put even if you put the Lieutenant in front of 1, if he has a removal spell for your Mayor, it's the same spot.
Yep.
So you might as well save if you're gonna block, it's either block neither, which I don't think is tenable because you're so likely to die. And if you're not willing to do that, then you got to block both. It's bad for you if he has anything, but you at least save yourself some points.
Well, that's that.
All right, well, no blocks, I guess.
no blocks will end the game. So, John Phillip Whetstone will play a Shard Volley and a Lightning Bolt. Those Swift Spears will turn into 3-power creatures. That's 3, 6, 9, 12 points of damage. And John Phillip Whetstone's going to win game number 2 here over Austin Collins. Burn and Humans are going to get ready for a third and final one. For Collins, he will be on the play this go-around, so those Knight of Autumns, those Sin Collectors, those Oriot Champions, they are much better on the play than they are on the draw. And for John Phillip Whetstone, I am curious to see if we'll see the bridges and the paths in the deck. We didn't see anything there. And I think it's not out of the question for him to just not sideboard anything.
No. I think play versus draw in this matchup is, if you assume from the burn side that the 4 Eidolons are the first thing to go, it looks like he has 6 good cards to bring in. I think on the play, I'm more inclined to cut one of the spells. On the draw, the cards 5 and 6 I think are more likely to be something like Goblin Guide, where you just want to turn into a burn deck. Trying to connect with your creatures in combat is really hard. You have ensnaring bridges that make you want to de-emphasize the creatures anyway. So that's a swap that I like. That's a play-draw swap I make in this matchup frequently, is cut a couple spells when you're on the play and cut a couple creatures when you're on the draw.
Well, These players shuffling up, getting ready for G3, so we're going to talk about SCG Game Night very quickly. It is a very popular promotion. Thanks to all of our wonderful retailers and players for playing in it. We got some fun stuff here to round out 2018.
Yeah, you can head over to go.scgames.com/game night to find out more information about Game Night and find the game night closest to you. We have our remaining kits to show off here in October, which is now head of the class, and then to round out the year in November, Rise from the Nashes, and then in December, Bramblehopper Elite. You can head over again to go.starcitygames.com/game night, find the game night closest to you, and storage if you want to get signed up for game night, have these kits with these pins and tokens sent to you monthly. Contact your Star City Games in-store play representative.
Collins and Whetstone taking a look at the opening hands here. Again, Gosson will be on the play. 2 invitational top 8s for the 15-year-old on your left from Kansas City, Missouri. Probably pretty happy to be a Chiefs fan right now, too.
It's not bad.
Pretty good squad out there.
It's not a bad time.
An ancient Ziggurat to start things off. No one drop here for Austin Collins, unfortunately for him. For John Phillip Whetstone, it's a falling down to 18 via Sacred Foundry, and he certainly has a one drop, and it'll be a Lava Spike. Hiya!
I do not mind keeping hands with no one drops on the play from the human side post board because your sideboard cards are all so good. Any hand containing, maybe not Sin Collector, but Oriok Champion or Knight of Autumn, I think you can keep if they're castable.
I do agree. And Thalia doesn't hurt either. This one will gum things up here for John Phillip Whetstone, especially if he's just on a one-lander. But Thalia's great because that means no searing effect to worry about on turn number 2. And things are going really well for Austin Collins. He's able to play a third land, Sin Collector, and take the searing effect from John Phillip Whetstone's hand. For now, John Phillip will just pass the turn back over to Austin. Austin will draw a card. In for 2 with the Thalia. John Phillip's going to fall down at 16. Collins with the Plains. And here's a Sin Collector. It's a great start here for Austin Collins. Lightning Bolt's going to take care of Thalia, but the Sin Collector's going to yank a card. As there's a Blood Crypt, that means Rakdos Charm may have come in. And let's see what John Phillip is working with. A whole lot of Shard Volleys.
Nothing but nugs.
Along with a Path to Exile and a Lava Spike. Nothing but nugs indeed. Pardon me, is that a... That actually might be an Ensnaring Bridge, not a Path.
Yeah.
The promo one.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's just Lava Spike, right?
Yeah, I mean, the Shard Volleys are...
You don't do a whole lot taking the third one.
No, no. Kind of want you to cast them both. So, yeah, Spikes away. Weird hand here for John Phillip Whetstone. You see kind of the diminishing returns there of Shard Volley.
Yeah, but post board, he's just trying to be a Lava Spike plus Ensnaring Bridge deck. It's not, Shard Volley is not the cleanest fit with Ensnaring Bridge all the time, but still an easy card to cast at least.
Monastery Swift Spear of the draw.
This is also the challenge when you get into the 3-color territory, when you have a splash like Whetstone has, along with Shard Volley, is you get into awkward spots where, you know, if you Shard Volley here and you blow up the Blood Crypt, then your black spells are cut off for forever. And if you blow up your Sacred Foundry, you may cut yourself off of white for a long time, and you have a variety of white cards in the deck.
I kind of wanted to block that Swift Spear, by the way.
Not if you have an Oriot Champion.
This makes... Well, I actually like blocking it more.
How come?
So you block this... So you block it with... You know that your opponent didn't draw land. They have 3 Shard Volleys in their hand. So you block the Swift Spear with the Sin Collector. Are you going to Shard Volley me? Down
no.
to 1 land?
No.
Okay, so then we just trade our things. That's fine. I'm totally fine with. I'm totally fine with that trade.
I don't know. With 17 to 11, and if his hand was really Thalia plus Champion, he may just want to race here.
Fair.
Because if he doesn't have an answer to the ensnaring bridge, and it's maybe it jams him up a little bit and gives Whetstone a lot of time, I want to attack him while Whetstone can't enable the ensnaring bridge.
There's an unclaimed territory.
I agree on the surface. Yeah, like trade your if he wants to shard volley, cool, and if you trade 1 for 1, that looks good too. But I think I like Collins' line of trying to race a little bit here, given what his leftovers were.
It'd be a 2-mana vial and a passing of the turn. Bang! Bang!
Nice.
Shard volley that. Now he needs to draw a land so he can play the bridge. Some spots where we got champion is really good. Here's a Searing Blaze for a 1. Down goes the Sin Collector. In for 2 with the Swift Spear. We'll go back to Austin. Vial's going to go up to 1. He's drawn quite a few lands this game, none of them Horizon Canopies. Well, I think he may have just drawn a copy of Mantis Rider. Didn't get a great look. Must not have been. Here's an attack for 1. See what the follow-up is here. It'll be a Kite Sail Freebooter. Gimme bridge. Gimme bridge. You got to shard volley that away, which means you're farther away from bridge. At least as things currently stand.
It's not the smoothest fit, I gotta say.
No. You're seeing a few of the problems.
Yeah, I have some structural issues with the way that Whetstone's deck is set up. I think that if you want to do the shard volley thing, I'm down to play a couple copies. Even if you want to play 4. I think your sideboard needs to be more searing effects and not ensnaring bridge, because it's just too hard to do all of this.
They're just counterintuitive.
Yeah,
with how they work.
I mean, Whetstone's like, he's drawn a few lands and then stopped, and it's still hard for him to cast his stuff efficiently.
Mm-hmm. See what this is. Suspend Riftbolt. Vial's going to stay on 2 here for Austin Collins. Pass the turn back. All right, going to go Rift Bolting.
Whetstone really needs a path. If he draws a path and can get this Oriot champion off the battlefield, I think the game could very quickly swing to his favor, but he sort of can't do anything while that card's hanging out.
There's the bridge. Oh, there's a basic mountain here. Yep.
That's why in this matchup I think it's really important to get game 1 from the burn side. I think game 1 is slightly favorable for burn, not by a ton, but you have to get it because post-board, the sideboard cards that humans have are just so hard to beat.
They're really, really good. It depends on how much they want to load up, too. Not everyone plays Oriot Champion. Most people do play Sin Collector. And at this stage, Knight of Autumn is pretty stock.
Yeah. Knight of Autumn is another incentive, I think, to move away from Ensnaring Bridge. They're just going to get you. So just Searings and Skull Cracks and maybe a path or 2. That's how I would want to approach it.
I do like the idea that Justin Elkins brought up yesterday. Satyr Fire Dancer.
Satyr Fire Dancer also seems
not bad,
incredible against them. Doesn't solve the Oriot champion, but few things do, and all their normal draws are going to get swallowed up by that card.
Yep.
It's like, you got a Knight of Autumn, all right, it's dead. You gain some life, I don't care.
That's dead, and so is everything else.
Yep. Satyr Fire Dancer is a good approach, I think. That's the right way, I think.
Is Fire Dancer an enchantment creature?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, because I remember, I'm pretty Knight of Autumn can kill it. So that's a bit of a downside there, but
yeah, but then they're not getting 4.
Yes.
And presumably you can set up Satyr Fire Dancer to at least get some money on the way in. You set up a turn of Fire Dancer plus Spike, you kill a thing. Mm-hmm. If they kill on the way back, you got your money.
From Theros block. Haven't seen a ton of this one in sideboards, but perhaps that will change.
I think this one is, and Bant Spirits too, not great against this card.
It's not great for Bant Spirits.
Great. Yeah, I think this one's poised for some movement. I mean, if your post-board philosophy with burn in a lot of the creature matchups, and it's mine, is I can't manage the game. My creatures just suck. I can't manage the game that way. I need to be on lava spikes and just try to finagle their creatures and searing them down and burn them out before I get overwhelmed. This card makes a lot more sense than Ensnaring Bridge does.
Yeah. For me, Ensnaring Bridge is just very archaic.
Yeah.
Everyone knows it's coming who's playing a creature deck, and everyone's prepared for it because everyone has artifact removal.
Yeah.
So, like, what kind of advantage are you getting by playing Ensnaring Bridge? I feel like the answer is very little. You're not blindsiding anyone with this card anymore.
Right, and so Knight of Autumn they're bringing in regardless. A lot of people bring in some amount of naturalized stuff against you because you have Eidolon and sometimes Shrine of Burning Rage post board.
Mm-hmm.
So people are already in a headspace of, I'll have a Naturalizer 2 effect against them. Maybe they don't have a million targets, but it's good enough to bring in. And your Ensnaring Bridge gets caught up in that too.
So we have some Shard Volley action here.
Yeah, this is getting Whetstone to Hellbent. Leaves him with both black and white mana to do whatever, and gets in quite a bit of damage. So Collins here is flooding out. If he finds a Knight of Autumn, he should be golden.
I think he already has one. I think he's just been slow rolling it for a while.
Cool.
Yeah. He's just been slow. Because like he almost hardcast it and then didn't, and like I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure he just has one in his hand that he's not playing, as he's gonna go up to 6. Just kind of little trappy poo, as the mayor's gonna bring him up to 7. Here's an attack. Put you down to 7, so it's 7 all, I believe. Because that Auriok champion is a human, so the mayor does pump up the jam. Oh, draw step, Sin Collector you. Yeah, he's doing okay. He's doing okay. Trigger. Nice sorcery there. Inspiring Ant. You can have that. That is fine. Yeah, for the burn players out there, I just don't think Bridge is the way to get people anymore.
Yeah, I think that every humans player can sort of hang back and wait to draw one of their, Reclamation Sage, Knight of Autumn type of cards.
Well, you can just stop saying Reclamation Sage.
Sure, whatever.
We're done with that.
Whatever the card is.
We got an upgrade in the Knight of Autumn. Rex Sage did some nice work, but it's gone. Beat down a clock. I like the no attack with the Knight of Autumn, too, just in case you draw a copy of Phantasmal Image.
I mean, isn't he on a... Oh, okay. So I guess the reasoning is if you attack with everything, he blocks Knight of Autumn.
Draws a bridge,
and you want to leave Phantasmal Image as an out to that.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Austin Collins seeing the angles and happy to play them. This will be an attack for 6, by the way. 3 from the Howl Pack Alpha, 2 from the Sin Collector, 1 from the Auriok Champion. We know that John Phillip Whetstone has an Inspiring Advantage in hand and needs to draw a bridge to play. I think he's just going to play this and hope it's a bridge. It's a Boros Charm, and that is going to do it. So Austin Collins is going to win this match over John Phillip Whetstone. 2-1. Humans will take care of Burn, and it's the power of some of those sideboard cards there, folks. An Auriok Champion and Knight of Autumn and Sin Collector. They all showed up in Game 3, and they were all